All right, we're gonna be starting our next Hunter x Hunter chapter from 344 until I get tired. I am kind of sick right now, so uh, I don't have a lot of energy, but I do want to get this video out because I have been lacking on Hunter x Hunter videos. I do want to get this video out as soon as possible, especially now that I have my PC fully built. I can continue from where I left off on all my anime shows, on uh, anime shows, all my manga reads, any games I want to play and stream and record videos for. So I think that things will hopefully have some clarity as to when they'll come out, and hopefully that clarity is pretty soon. But looking at the previous chapters that built up to 344, I had to revisit them. I did not want to rewatch the reread the manga on stream, so I did reread it, and it seemed primarily, as a recap, primarily it was focused on uh one, it was focused on like Leorio's like purpose of of wanting to join the Dark Continent, because he was obviously, Cheeto approached him because of his image, and Leorio approached Kurapika because of his concern over Kurapika's well-being. Because like if you saw in the anime, Leorio was calling Kurapika to ask where Gon was, and he was like, "Wow, I don't know, where are you? You should be here. What's wrong with you?" So I think that Leorio kind of is concerned, and that would add credibility that he is concerned. And then we had Jing and Parison, and Parison was uh, Jing caught on to Parison's plan, and uh, his plan to sow chaos in the organization. He was planning to use the Chimera ants that the hunters got from the Chimera ant arc, and uh, cause massive chaos, which would result in the Hunters Association trying to get as many hunters as possible, which at that point his rank and file members would be infiltrating the association because they would be able to pass the tests that the association was permitting them, allowing Paris to have a large coalition within the Hunters Association. And Jin confronted him about it, and they stopped him. Um, so Kurapika, he figures out the who has his family member's eyes. He's the one that has them, and it is Seredenich, the fourth prince, also the same prince who skinned women alive because he thought their artistic value was not sufficient. They weren't philosophers, they weren't intellectuals, so he thought their value was only in the skin that they produce, and that skin was used for his own chair. Like he had a chair, and like the chair was made out of the people's skin that he artistically found to have value. So we're gonna be dealing with some pretty crazy people, all things considered. So it seems like Kurapika threatening, manipulating, and giving money. These were all the strategies that Kurapika used to get the eyes from artists and politicians and religious leaders and musicians and lawyers and investors, and they all had like some lecherous purpose for this. But he seems to believe that once he finishes his revenge, that Pyro, it looks like my journey is finally beginning. But where will it take me? People to greet or welcome me, or a place to go home to? I don't have anything like that. Even he's questioning, like, what is his purpose in doing all this? Like, is it going to amount to anything? Is it going to matter a lot? I mean, that is a question he should ask. He's very smart. 346, this is where I left off. Now I'm 99% sure. Kurapika. This mission seems like a way bigger deal than I expected. Are we going to be okay? What I'm worried about is that they haven't given us much information, but it seems as though we're going to that savage continent. I'll explain everything now. And let me also introduce our members. Please write this way. These are the countries that represent the six continents known as the V6. They were originally the V5, but from the recent turmoil, Kakin has had its status raised as the sixth. In the past, the V5 tried to challenge the Dark Continent, but all their efforts resulted in failure. So, in other words, the dangerous ranks of all five have been raised to B plus, all exceeding the rank of B of the Chimera ants. Capturing any of these, and returning with them to benefit mankind is our current mission. And we've come to call the disease and dangerous beasts that caused those failures the five calamities. From the details of the documents we have on hand, I will explain to you the first 7 pages on Hellbell. Additionally, we also have the issue of dealing with the current restrained master beyond. It has been decided that we are to take him to the virtual new continent. From there until the dark continent, the pros and cons of whether we bring him or not are outside of this discussion. It won't be an easy decision either way. Now, are there any questions so far? Seriously? We're supposed to deal with the calamity that's even worse than the Chimera ants who Netero traded his own life to defeat. And on top of that, we're supposed to do it while holding back the reins on the president's son. I've got plenty, but to start with, there's one I would like answered. Go ahead. Beyond most definitely has allies within the organization. Have you been able to identify about how many? Look how calm and collected this guy is. This guy's fucking crazy. What did you say? Why do you know about that? Why wouldn't I know? From the previous president, Netero's will, I surmised that Beyond has always been waiting for his father's demise. So there's no way that he hadn't been carefully preparing for this voyage all along, right? Coming to the organization himself and getting involved with the organization, it makes clear that was his plan from the very start. Without a doubt, he had the utmost confidence that he would be able to control a project of this grand scope and scale, even after being restrained. That's why he turned himself in. The existence of a capable right-hand man that he can rely on, and a great number of comrades to support him, would also be necessary. The successor that took over after the previous president died, must have made some kind of movement. I'm assuming this all rings a bell. Parison and the Mediator Hunters. I see up until the election campaign, things are easily understood. After that, we start filling in hypothetical questions with yes, and then we end up with even more questions. Kurapika, can I have a second? We are concerned about a traitor in the midst, just like you. Cheadle and I have already begun to investigate the internal departments. Why didn't you share this with the Zodiacs? Because the two of us have come to the same conclusion as you. There is a traitor within the Zodiacs. That possibility just can't be excluded now. Can it? Yeah. This was all put into motion half a century ago. The eldest of the Zodiacs, Botobai, was still just a child. If that was when this plan was put into motion, then most of the organization's members are possible suspects. That makes sense? But the Zodiacs were chosen individually, one by the previous president, right? Exactly. That former president designated that person as the vice president, even though it was opposed. I see. So that is the kind of person he was. He's the kind of person who would do anything if he found it interesting. I think Harrison's job is to mislead us to draw our attention. After putting a restriction on Beyond, I think he probably realized that Beyond would be after his life. That is why we have needed to involve you, who seem to have no relations or connections. The ex-president was really crazy. Whenever he had to deal with a difficult situation, he and everyone around him would just end up laughing it off. So is he suggesting that like Parison was involved in the Chimera Ants outbreak, and that Chimera Ant outbreak led to Gon losing his Nen and Netero dying, the chairman dying. So, and Parison seemingly had a connection to like to the Chimera Ants, like he was intending to use them. So it seems like either it was coincidental and that was just Parison's plan, or it was crafted. It would be interesting if we ever find out the answer to that. He and everyone around him would just end up laughing it off. Well, that may have been part of his charm. There might still be a traitor that the former president allowed to slip into the midst of the Zodiacs. So I'd like to keep all of this a secret between you and me. Understood. In order to carry out perfect medical care, an elite medical team is being formed. We are extending offers first to outstanding talent within the field, and we will be selecting from those screened by the council members through the Hunters Association, in order to manage our risk and keep them to a minimum. Cheadle, doctor, lawyer, incurable disease hunter, science division. And together with Sacho, we will be scouting out intelligence on the new members, on the new candidates. We are also in the communication with Botobai, who is currently in negotiations to acquire the Black Whale, its passengerless. Negotiations have also begun between the V5 and Kaken, so everything is getting in place for everybody to go on this trip. They're getting their members together. Mizai Stone Private Security Company Management Attorney. Private Security Company Management Attorney, Crime Hunter, Intelligence Division. As long as Kaken can keep their open pipeline with the Saleta and Burjuros military, they'll find a way to be able to work anything out. After landing, we will be in secret communication with the intelligence division in order to make sure our defenses are impenetrable and that we have proper countermeasures deployed to keep Beyond from escaping. We have measures prepared for biological and nin abilities. Botobai, prosecutor, military analyst, Terrorist Hunter Defense Division. In the event we make contact with the Dark Continent civilization, I'm integrating data on the ancient language into our software. After we get the passenger list, I have programmed it to prioritize reconstructing the data. Collection of intelligence and plant life will commence once we embark. Cluck. Peon. So everybody has different plans, like where they have different roles. Cheeto's gonna be involved in making sure everybody doesn't die from diseases, which I don't know how the fuck they're gonna do that because it seems like everybody who goes there gets the disease and gets fucking destroyed and they all die. He's gonna be involved in making sure. He's gonna be involved in screening the hunters for the Dark Continent. He's gonna be involved in making sure Beyond doesn't get away. She's gonna be involved in um, communications between the Dark Continent and the Hunters Association. She's gonna be involved in collecting plants, so she's probably fucking dead. She's dead. That's the worst. That's the worst job. Sideshow Detective, Handyman, and Trouble Hunter. The Chemistry Division and the Biology Division support members have cleared the candidate screening. We are fully prepared for the possibility that this is a one-way trip, with no conflicting desires or aspirations. They have no connection to Kaken either. I got nothing for you, though I want to say I think I'm more than enough on my own to guard Beyond. So she's going to be involved in guarding. He's going to be involved in guarding Beyond. He's gonna. He was responsible for screening the chemists and the biologists. So you're going to be going to uh, perform plantology. As expected, Nav won't make it any further than the Dark Continent. We're looking for similar people of a similar ability level currently, but it's been tough. Since Morel has given his consent, we could leave the navigation from the new continent until the gate up to his team. Well, if anyone attacks us on the continent, I'll beat the snot out of him. I'll leave all the hard stuff to you guys until we land. So he's also going to be on the defending the Hunters Association. My main job is also after we land, I'm relatively free for the voyage. So for now, Sambika and I are going to be drafting a communicable disease countermeasure manual. So the other girl is going to be responsible for analyzing and getting the useful plants for civilization, and she's going to be responsible for making the plans in case they encounter something. Which I'm not going to lie to you, there's really nothing you can really do. You can't really predict what's going to happen. I'm planning on supporting Cheeto's medical team. I'm glad to hear that the member recruitment from the organization has gotten smoother after I joined. It may be a harsh mission, but this is the road to achieving my goals. I may be inexperienced, but I will be doing my absolute best. I apologize for my rude questions earlier. Up until now, I was unaware of how complex the situation was regarding the organization. In my line of work, I've made many connections with outlaws. Regarding Beyond and Kaken, I think I may be able to supply information that the government sources won't be able to furnish. Nostrad family, young boss, bounty hunters, intelligence division. The hunter's exam is finally almost ready to begin. This year, we are changing our usual system and schedule in order for us to get the necessary talent we need for our voyage. To ascertain their aptitude and select the very best, we are going to need all of your strengths. Let us work together as one and complete this mission successfully. So, time advances. I mean, this is a well thought out plan. Like, this is like, honestly, this is way better than the Chimera Ant arc and Netero's plan. But to be honest, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's probably even more likely to go wrong. I mean, so many players at play. Take a small part of the surrounding aura and turn it into a little wart, and then little by little, move it around. Whoa. And then as you create more warts, keep them moving. And now on both hands. Seriously, for real? Move them backwards and forwards, right to left, forwards, left and right. Make the warts bigger or turn them into different shapes. Seriously? Have the warts move in different directions depending on how fast they're going. You are too fast, you are too slow. Okay, I get it. Enough already. I've got to let my heart get used to this. For the first time, somebody is better at Ibokuri than him, and he looks like he wants to die. Damn, I was planning on showing off my skills and now I've lost my self-confidence. I finally got one single one to start moving. Well, it's not like it says anything about your ability. It's more like just spinning a pin on your finger. You bastard. What makes it so cool? It doesn't have a point. Jing-san, I want another match with you about ancient language and modern and ancient geography. Okay. Isn't there any kind of trick to it? Just practice. Okay, then we're going to do words starting with the letter N in ancient folk language. Nada, that's right. Nadab. Isn't it? Isn't it though? You give up already? I still got a billion more to go. So this guy, Jing is fucking smart as fuck. Like, it seems like he just knows everything. I mean, he has all these skills. Like Netero said he was a top 5 Nen user. I mean, he just has so many accolades. Alright, I win. Jings, you are amazing. Kukuri is a professor at Barvard University. Well, I didn't really go to school. I just learned all the things I wanted to. Fine, I accept defeat. You win. I'll take your money. You don't have to force yourself. We can have a match at Nankuri language next. No. Please just give me your money. I'm going to donate it to the educational system. Jing-san, thank you very much. Hunter's exam just concluded. All of our side's assassins failed. Is that so? The members of the mediators all were weeded out in the aptitude screening as well then. Yes, I was quite surprised their defense was much stronger than we expected. Though I was impressed they had set up double layered traps for those who had cleared the personal inspection previously. It seems as though the person who joined the Zodiacs in my place, someone exceedingly benefiting of that position. I heard he read minds. Are you acquainted with Mulher-san? Yes, I know him. He returned rather quickly. I didn't need to look at the results. I, along with some other members, were able to make it through the lie detector test. So he was the guy that, like, he was Pearson's guy in the exam. But thanks to that person, we were all failed because Kurapika has a net ability that can, like, you have to tell the truth to him. If we had known about our escape plans after the voyage beforehand, he'd probably know it all by now. Aha. No need to worry. After all, there wasn't a plan to begin with. After getting to the continent, Beyond is going to escape with his own strength and then join us. That's all. So at least this way, we won't have to hide inside the organization and deal with troublesome fights and bargains. This is much easier. By the way, Jing, you're on the organization side, aren't you? Hurry up and get lost. That's a misunderstanding. If we're talking about the freedom to do as I please during the journey, then I have a preference for Beyond's side. I understand the V5 being cautious on this voyage for any outrageous risks. So at the least I'm choosing to follow their protocol. At the very worst, it's fine if I don't make it home. That is the only difference that I have from Beyond, who has the position of the adventure goes until we bring back results. In other words, if it's to free Beyond, I'll happily cooperate. But I can't overlook Pearson. He's using his facade of perverse love as a means to destruction. My prerogative, my right, is giving my help to Beyond and keeping Pearson restrained. Are you able to accept that? So he just doesn't like that Pearson is like chaotic. He doesn't like that. That person is just chaotic. Yeah, so Jing lives for the adventure while Beyond uh, is primarily supposedly doing this to, like, have like an accolade as like somebody who explored the dark continent. He's trying to have like recognition. Come on now, settle down. It's true that Jing-san isn't on the organization side. What's that? What the hell is going on here? What's happening? Since when have you all been so buddy buddy? Weren't you all opposed to him before? Yeah, from that terrible meeting until now, I still hate his guts. But give a but give at few day but give at few days, and you'll see for yourself. You'll understand how much we need a man of his talent. I'm not waiting for shit. Our former boss was Beyond. We couldn't care less about who the number two is. The number two isn't doesn't influence the chain of command anyways. Number one is Pearson and number two is Jing. Decide now which one of you two is leaving. I'll take choice three. I'll go choice four. At least Jing san, you've finally gotten in the mood. So I would really like it if you didn't interfere. Number three, all of you will leave. Number four, all of you will die. That's fucking hard, I'm not gonna lie to you. In that case, I'll take option five. You two are going to die. So he's a conjurer. He's a conjurer and they're emitters. They fucking ran that fucking shit. What the hell are you doing? Stop it. Are you trying to actually kill them? Keep out of this. Seal off the exits. They're heading down to the basement. How convenient. Corner them carefully. A bastard in a suit that's all talk, and a coward that gets beat up, even by rookies. Everybody kisses your asses like you're all so special. But I've never not hated you jerks. What a perfect chance to deal with this for good. So this guy has no respect for them. Them boys are fucking running though. Man, he's got a seriously bad temper. They just started blasting us out of nowhere. You of all people talking about someone's seriously bad temper. That's just an image of me that was pierced together from a bunch of totally separate little incidents. And shut up about that. And besides, this is all because you provoked him in the first place. Harsh, I was going along with your flow. Well, now that it started, they're not going to back down, are they? So then, shall we? Yeah, but gently. Even though they are emitters, see? They're the kind that would just materialize guns. This'll be a breeze. Is it okay for me to be seeing this? Yeah, no problem. Leorios. If it's a technique that's able to trace other people's abilities, it's nothing so amazing. If I get hit by a strike type ability once, I can pretty much imitate it. That's just a natural talent, I guess. It's too quiet. You don't think all three of them were killed. Should we go in? Wait, there might be a signal. Leorio's training to be a doctor, right? I think that ability was probably the result of trial and error using palpitations and tapping. I'm sure he did something like this as well. Letting out pulses of your aura like an ultrasound scan. There's two people leaning against the wall. Let's see here. And here, tumors and blood clots that can't be reached or accessed with the scalpel can be destroyed from the outside. It doesn't look like anybody else is coming. Perhaps they gave up. They assume the mission has been completed, right? You had them put on a show for me, right? I mean, the whole thing was so obviously staged. There were a lot of rough edges throughout, but the biggest mistake was with the pissed off Mohawk guy. He didn't bring up the choice of kicking both of us out. Although if that choice were given, I might have possibly taken it. I went with it and fought them because I felt bad they had to act out that shitty, self-serving scenario of yours. But next time, come at me yourself. That is, if you want to see my abilities. So he figured out it was staged, and I was kind of thinking that like it couldn't be staged because Parison was it couldn't be staged because Parison like Parison was like provoking them, which Jing talked about. Jing talked about Parison provoking them. Parison provoked them, so that's how Jing knew that like it was kind of staged, or at least like I see. So we were figured out, and I thought my acting was good too. Are you for real? You're way too easy on yourself, you know that? What the hell was with that ridiculous monotone delivery? I have never not hated you, you jerks. I believe it was. I so want to put a bullet between your eyes right now. Though you should be worried more about your soldiers than your acting, they are not at a level they're not at a level where they can handle the dark content. At the best they'll be able to be backup reserves. That's not a problem, considering they are the backup reserves. Our main missions are reconnaissance and providing artillery support, and we also specialize in sniper coverage fire. He'll be handling shooting. A joint type, huh? Exactly. He materializes a powerful heavy weapon, which is manned by an emitter type who creates the bullets. By doing so, their power becomes much greater than it would be separately. So he takes the best of both worlds. Like he takes this giant machine and then he has like an operator inside. And because the operator is a pure emitter, he's better at like doing damage than like if they were to be separate. Makes sense. So this is how those Nin weapons were sent to the soldiers. This allows a lot of things to get done at the same time. Yeah, it's been proven that for mid to long term group warfare, carrying real weapons loaded with Nin bullets greatly increases efficiency on the battle. Assault and recon personnel together with this guy right here make up a 11-man squad known as the Stonewall. The legendary unit came out of the Lubo Civil War without a single casualty. That's pretty amazing. You're not bad. What's your name? My comrades designate me as Golem. No further inquiries will be answered. I've known this thing for over 3 years, but he's always been like that. I still don't know his voice, his face, or his real name. Figures. He's been giving off that don't talk to me or after all. So he's very secretive, very shy. Very shy. You're the one in charge of all these divisions, aren't you, Muhel? Do you think you can talk everyone into taking my money for me? Can I be straight with you? When I heard you were talking about being number two, I wouldn't have had a problem with it if you hadn't brought up the money thing. You know at the very least that we soldiers value each other's trust more than anything else, right? If rumors were to start popping up about people being bought with money, those people would be ostracized. Tossing around money so freely as if it were clean and simple made me stick to my stomach. It's the same as with the title of a book or where you put your remote control on the table. They're all decided upon, and you don't want them changed. So he thinks that like there's values in like there's specific ways of getting money. You know, like you get it like in his line of work, you get it from fighting, you get it from espionage, you get it from contracting, and like he feels like the balance of power between like the different factions that Beyond has, his command structure, that like his structure is based off of respect, and he wants to maintain that respect. He wants to maintain that integrity of his system in the same way that like he believes in like his values towards money and that this is how money should be made. I even heard from people who wanted to quit after hearing what you said. And the truth is, I've been pissed off about this situation as well. If you have an explanation, I'd like to hear it. I don't. Not even a whimper, there's nothing I can do but say I'm sorry. I'm sorry for causing so much disturbance. But for those that have already accepted, I can't just suddenly take it back. Do you think we can settle this with donations to the Noel Foundation? The Noel Foundation, mutual aid for the families of fallen soldiers. Wow, I didn't even think about that. Like he's like a soldier and He's always fighting at wars and stuff on behalf of, different people. And like that money, like the way he made money, like it was a show of like their gratitude to him. And now like he didn't really see the same value in how Jing was giving the money to his people. I didn't even think about that. This manga's pretty deep, I'm not gonna lie to you. Pretty deep. Aid for families of fallen soldiers, financial aid, spiritual guidance, employment services, education, and childcare is guaranteed to the surviving family members of soldiers that have fallen in the line of duty. A soldier named Noel began to provide the guidance and life assistance to one way people, child soldiers, refugees, the impoverished, and those that are in need or at their limits. It all began with money that was deposited into his personal account by fellow soldiers nowadays. This miracle account relies on a more specialized kind of deposits from so-called third generation accounts. Are you being serious? If you made a grandchild account, you'd be a soldier yourself. You wouldn't be able to turn down requests from a grandfather account. Well, you won't take the money if it's half-hearted, right? And with that account, all the members will have joint administration over the funds without stirring up any weird rumors. I don't get you at all. Why are you going this far to try to give us your money? What's your angle? Well, to be honest, I get myself into these situations a lot where I talk first and then wonder why I said those things. This time, though, is different, and that's how I've gotten you into this big mess. But I suppose the biggest reason was I knew these guys weren't the kind that would be dazzled by money. That's why. I figured that when they took it, then that would mean they have accepted me. And I suppose I was happy that there were a bunch of fools around. There were a bunch of fools like me around. Because if you really think about it, like these are like members of the mafia, of like various different backgrounds of like people that like they were working for like literally anything. They would do anything like whether it be just like mercenary work or like like in this guy's case like working for the military, or on behalf of the military, and that's like his line of work. And that like these guys have different values. Like they have different values. They don't really care that much about money. Like their lives are more fulfilled by different things. And like Jing saw that like they may not actually care about this, but like maybe this is like some way that like I can have some clarity that they respect me, or they have some level of acceptance of me, even though they don't. We're completely different, but like in some ways, maybe some way we can um, have some closure, have some connection to one another in some way. At least that's what I think Jing is offering. Originally, when I realized my secret voyage plans that I had been looking forward to were speared through the side, I was pissed off. But when I look back on it, Beyond challenged it before I ever did. And to be honest, I came here without straightening my feelings out. I just wanted to blow off some steam. But when I got here, and the first words that came out of my mouth were, let me join too. I even surprised myself a bit. I don't remember how things got to the bits about the money. I remember asking him about it myself. Well, Marshall, I had a chance when he and Pearson were arguing. My first impression was that Jing kept this air about him of always stirring up trouble, and that he was a dangerous person. After seeing both of their discord over causing the incident with the previous president and hearing Jing's personal feelings towards the Dark Continent, I suppose I pardoned all of that. But at the same time, no, without knowing any better of this either, I accused Jing's son of trying to manipulate people into getting his way. Marion and I created war preparations in the event that we should need to gain control over a chaotic situation. And since we prioritized solving our problem, we found that there were undeniable merits in having Jing command us. That's all. Basically, like the way that he handled the situation, like he was very charismatic, and he he grew to seeing him as valuable. Whereas with the other girl, I don't know where she is, but the other girl, like she saw him as valuable because um, he was very knowledgeable of like stuff. He was very knowledgeable of different languages, of different cultures. Like um, she was a translator. She wasn't combat oriented, and like Jing was someone that she could connect to in some way. And in this guy's case, he connected to him, and he felt like Jing would be a good leader in his realm of like preparations for war or whatnot. And with the other guy, like he saw Jing as like he saw Jing as a valuable leader because he, with no questions asked, like he helped his sister, and it was yeah, that's a more direct like connection to how Jing impacted their lives, and Jing is just like they have a lot of respect for him. And just how does this connect to the money? Well, I was trying to be cool about it at that time. I didn't really think of that the money was going to cause a problem. My relationship with Paris is complicated, to say the least, but I'm not trying to stir up anything here. I was absolutely serious when I said I wanted to take him out of his number two position in order to stop his schemes. And I was also serious when I said I wanted to help with Beyond's plan. Accept me. This money was parting gift, maybe a parting gift from me, but it also has self-interest. Will you take it or won't you? It's up to you to decide, Muhel. Why did you not explain it as such to begin with? If only you had, everything would have gone smoothly. Well, the reason I couldn't was that I had to get him to acknowledge and become self-aware of his shame in order to quell the disorder. Hmm. All right. I'll try to get the soldiers to all understand, but in exchange, the money will go to the Norwell Foundation. Let me be clear about this. I'm okay with you being number two. However, I'll be the one to keep the soldiers together on the scene. Yeah, of course. Also, if you open an account as my grandson, that will automatically make you a member of the team. On the battlefield, my orders are absolute. You will respond only with a yes, sir. Understood, number two? Sir, yes, sir. Well, I suppose if you're fine with that, then we're okay with it too. The guys that are coming back now won't object any longer to Paris and acknowledging Jing as number two. Yeah, everyone just agreed. Since the infiltration failed, you can go ahead and send the money to everyone freely. I'm transmitting the list now. Congratulations on your inauguration, number two. In name only, that is. As always, you can take the lead. I'll have to refuse on that. I want to see how well you handle things. I see that I won't hold back. Wow. This was a very like intellectual chapter. All right, I'm gonna stop there. That was a lot. Um, 346 to 347. All right, and we'll stop right here. God damn, man, that was that was a very good chapter. I mean, we got to see a lot into like the morality of people. We got to see into like the big players that are like building up towards the Dark Continent. Uh, their plan for Beyond Netero to keep him detained. Their plan, Kurapika's plan to wield out the organization's like Parison's members, and Kurapika's goal. Kurapika's goal of trying to finish what he set out to do, which is recover all his family's eyes, and God knows what he wants to do after that. But damn, this chapter is very good. I mean, there's a lot of shit here. Jing get accepting as number two, like Jing's morality in terms of like wanting to be accepted. Wow. Parison's role in like trying to create discord for Jing, where he manipulates Jing into like fighting and killing, like he wanted Jing. He didn't really care about trying to defeat Jing, but he wanted to like force his hand, force him to do something that he didn't want to do, or that he didn't need to do. And there's a traitor within the Zodiacs. There's a lot of shit going on in this chapter. Also, Jing he showed like his expertise in like certain things where like he had that inability where he can copy anything that he experiences. Like if he ever gets punched in the face, like he can copy that ability. That's crazy power. Crazy power. But there's a lot of stuff going on, and I'm really appreciating it. I definitely miss reading Hunter x Hunter, and I'll definitely get back here as soon as possible. But I am kind of sick right now, and hopefully I can upscale my voice so it sounds better. But thank you for watching, and I'll watch some and read some more Hunter x Hunter later, and I'll definitely be getting to some of the anime shows getting back into reacting those pretty soon. Thank you very much.